out his nose hairs a short while ago. Apparently, his only customers for the night were Kiyose and the plasterer. "Every time you say that, I think it's a good way to put it, but there's one thing I don't get," said Kiyose. "What's that?" "We're not in old downtown Tokyo. This is uptown Yamanote, so not exactly the place for Edo natives." Kiyose finished shaving his face and approached the bathtub again. Eyeing his neighbor to keep him in check, Kiyose twisted the faucet and added cold water to the boiling hot bath. The cool liquid rippled through the bath, blending into the heat. Once he made sure it was mixed enough, he lowered himself into the tub. He hogged the space around the faucet and stretched out his legs in the water, now mellow enough not to scald him. "If you can tell the difference between downtown and uptown round here, you're getting to be a local." The plasterer seemed to give up any claim on the faucet. He glided over to the other corner of the bathtub, away from the water that was growing tepid. "Well, I've been living here for 4 years now," Kiyose responded. "How are things going down at Chikuseso? Does it look like all the rooms will be filled up this year?" "There's only one room left, but we'll see." "Hope you find someone." "Me too," Kiyose agreed, and he really meant it. "It's my last year, and I'm finally getting my big chance. Just one more person to go." He cupped some bathwater in his hands and rubbed his face. There was no way around it. He simply needed one more person. The hot water nipped his cheeks. Maybe it was razor burn. Kiyose left the bathhouse with his neighbor. They strolled down the quiet street, the old man pulling his bicycle along. Thanks to the hot bath, Kiyose didn't feel the cold at all. Just as he was debating whether to take off his thick dotera, he heard pounding footsteps and angry shouts from behind. He turned around and saw the shadows of 2 men in the distance, rushing pell-mell down the narrow path. One of them was running toward Kiyose, his arms and legs slicing the air in precise strokes as he left behind the other man, who was shouting something at him. As Kiyose and the plasterer watched, the runner rapidly approached them, and by the time Kiyose registered that he looked young, the man had already whizzed past them on the side of the alley. The second man, wearing a convenience store apron, was chasing after him, though he was lagging far behind. The young man had been breathing steadily as he brushed past Kiyose's shoulder. Kiyose almost started to run after him, but the plasterer's disapproving grumble checked his impulse. "A shoplifter. What a shame." At that, Kiyose realized that the sales clerk must have been yelling, "Stop him!" as the shoplifter ran past. But the clerk's voice had sounded like a jumble of meaningless sounds to Kiyose's ears. Kiyose had been too spellbound by the young man's stride, how his legs propelled his body forward like a well-oiled machine. Kiyose grabbed the handles of the old man's bike. "Let me borrow this." He pedaled as hard as he could without bothering to sit down, leaving his wide-eyed neighbor behind as he chased after the young man who had disappeared into the night. "He's the one. He's the one I've been looking for all this time." This conviction flared up inside him like magma erupting from a dark crater. There was no way Kiyose could lose sight of the runner. A single trail of light gleamed through the narrow alleys in his wake. The streak of light guided Kiyose, like the Milky Way crossing the night sky, like the scent of a sweet flower luring an insect. Wind filled his dotera, and it billowed out behind him. Finally, the bike lights caught the runner. Every time Kiyose pushed down on the pedals, the white circle of light swayed from side to side across the man's back. Kiyose observed the man's run while struggling to contain his excitement. A balanced form. A single straight line went down the runner's spine like an axis. His legs stretched out free and easy below his knees. His shoulders weren't stiff with excessive tension, and his ankles looked flexible, absorbing the shock of each landing. Light and supple, yet powerful too. Sensing Kiyose's presence, the runner cast him a sideways glance as they passed under a streetlight. When Kiyose saw the man's profile illuminated in the dark, he let out a murmur of surprise. "So it was you," he thought. An indescribable feeling roiled inside Kiyose. Whether it was delight or fear, he couldn't tell. Only one thing was clear. He was on the cusp of something about to begin.